Get Zendaya her Oscar right now. Give Zendaya her Oscar right now. Right now. Don't wait. Go get it. We'll wait for it. Give Zendaya her Oscar now. Hi my beautiful YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. If you are new, hi, I'm Danny. Welcome to my team. Make sure you subscribe, turn your post notifications on so you can be well acclimated to join the team. I never know what to say, and therefore I need to come up with like a tagline. If you have suggestions for a tagline for me, let me know because I suck. But anyway, I'm back with another makeup movies. What's the name of the series? Movies and makeup video, because y'all seem to pretty much like the last one. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it in the video, of course. Y'all can go watch that one. I reviewed the movie Soul and did a makeup look that was inspired by the Souls. And so far, for the past, it's only been up for like maybe a week. Y'all really messing with it because it's gotten the most like watch minutes that any of my videos have ever gotten. I've seen like at the first few days. So it seems like y'all are really, you know, vibing with the movies and makeup. So I said, okay, I think I'll keep this series going. And y'all can, of course, let me know in the comments if y'all do like it or if y'all kind of like, whatever. But I'm back with another one. So I'm going to be reviewing, the movie Malcolm and Marie. If you know, you know. Social media has gone up about this movie over the past few days. It came out on February 5th and today is the 13th. Oh my god, today's the 13th. I'm actually gonna try to get it up tomorrow for Valentine's Day because it's a heartwarming love story that I think you guys will enjoy to watch on Valentine's Day with your significant other. But yeah, it came out February 5th. I watched it a few days ago. I've actually watched it twice because for my last video, I kind of took notes on like what I can do to improve. So I said I was gonna try to watch the movies a couple times before I review it, because I want to see if I missed anything, just get the best review. And I'm going to try to review the movie without spoiling it. Kind of, I really probably spoiled Soul. I just talk about the whole movie. Don't really want to do that. I want to talk about the whole movie, but keep it kind of broad. So if you haven't seen it, but you still want to watch my video, I don't like ruin anything for you. Like I said, if you don't know about Malcolm and Marie, you're living under a rock because everybody's talking about it on social media. It is the most beautiful toxic shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's like either you hate it or you love it. I personally loved it. I enjoyed it even more the second time around, but you know, I can see why people don't like it because it's extremely toxic. Oh, and I also took notes, honey. I took notes. I have a whole dissertation on this movie because this movie, like, the cinematography, the scripting, the music is just chef's kiss. Like, I need to see if there's a soundtrack because they have some good music playing. And it's like, anyway, this movie is just so like relatable and toxic and just, let me get into it. Like, I'm getting too hyped up. So I'm gonna do a makeup look while I talk about the movie. So let's get into the video. So of course, you already know, did my brows off camera because I have a brow video. I'll link that as well. I always link it anytime I mention that I've done my brows already. But I don't think many people have like really noticed it because I don't think the video has that many views. But if you want to know how to do my brows, go watch the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter primer to prime my face, and we're gonna talk about this movie because, girl, it's just, like I said, it's just so toxic, but it's beautifully filmed. And I done learned how to do vocabulary. I done had to stop and Google a word every 10 minutes. Like, it's that deep. I feel like so much more educated after watching that movie. Like, I feel like I had got my PhD from Harvard at this point. Because my name on Twitter now is like Malcolm and Marie's Dictionary because they use, their verbiage is like, talks like that. I guess educated black people, and that's, well, I'm an educated black person, so don't get that twisted. But still, it's like, I don't know. If you know, you know. But anyway, let's really get to the movie. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. I think I've tried it before, but I think I had a different color, so I got a shade darker because I've been feeling like my foundation's been a little washed out lately. So I'm gonna try this out. This is in Espresso. I think I get the color. I have the color, like the shade lighter than this, but I'm gonna try this out and see if it's matching me better. So I'm gonna try that out actually. Oh, shake your foundation before you use it. Oh, this is watery. Hold on now. We'll see. Anyway, Malcolm and Marie. So basically the gist of Malcolm and Marie is there are a couple. Malcolm is a filmmaker and he just had his premiere for his newest movie that has gotten rave reviews already, like after it filmed. So he's like on a high, he's feeling great. And they come home and chaos ensues. Okay, so the movie basically opens up with Malcolm and Marie, like I said, coming home from his movie premiere for a movie that he, wrote and produced and directed, I believe. And come in, you can already see like a difference in excitement. Like Malcolm's on his high, he's like singing, dancing. Marie's just like walks in the house, runs straight to the bathroom, use the bathroom. So anyway, so basically just the movie, I'm just gonna get right into it. They basically fight all night about different things, and you see like the real like breakdown of their relationship all this night. It's too dark. Maybe not. Maybe so. It is a little dark. We gonna make it work. Finding my color is so hard. The look I'm gonna try to attempt is her makeup look from the night out, because the movie's been in black and white, so you can't really see the colors. So this is what in my head her makeup looked like the colors that they used. So that's what we're gonna do. They come home and Malcolm's like reliving the night. He's talking about just how much they loved him and how great the premiere was and do. And Marie's kind of just like whatever about it. She comes, makes him some mac and cheese, starts making him mac and cheese, and he's like all lovey-dovey and just like on his high from the night. And then he finally gets to a point where he's like, something's wrong with you. Like, what's wrong? Like, what happened? Why are you mad? Brings up different instances, like different things that went on throughout the night that possibly could have made her upset. I'm going in with my, of course, Tarte Shape Tape in Deep. So before we get into the fights, and when he first comes in, he's like, talking about the night. It was like a little like mini kind of monologue where he's going on about like how as a black filmmaker, his movies are always going to be seen as political because he is black. And he doesn't want people to just see it like as positive all the time, maybe to see like as just a movie, not a movie about the plight of black people just because I'm black, like just see it as just the plight of people, like this issue that people go through, because his movie is about mental health and drug addiction. So that's his complaint. And Marie's just kind of like, it is what it is. But anyway, we'll get into all of that later because he has another monologue about that. So the first fight happens because Malcolm's like, what's wrong? Marie's trying to like not get into it because she's like, you don't know how to de-escalate a situation. You don't know how to like talk rationally. So I won't talk about it. He's still pushing and pushing. And she's like, your speech, you didn't thank me. First issue, Malcolm didn't thank her in his speech for the night, which to Marie is a very big deal. And I think to anybody would be a pretty big deal that your significant other didn't thank you. And just on top of that, camera died, of course. But kind of glad it did, because I don't know if it was a mix of me being excited to talk about this movie and the fact that I'm slap happy and I'm going to get this over with so I go to sleep. But I just feel like I was like getting kind of like in a frenzy and flustered. I wasn't really making much sense. So now it took a second to like really think about how I want to be able to go, because I don't want it to be another really long one like my other one. It was really long. And yeah, but I want to make sure I get every detail in and finish the makeup look. So I went ahead and blended out my concealer and I topped with my setting powder. I've actually been trying the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder because everyone raves about it, and it's actually really, really good. I've liked it. It mattifies and does the job for my under eye, so no complaints. I might have to be pulling that out more often, and then for like the big events, pull out my Laura Mercier, because Laura Mercier is not cheap. Oh, and after letting that sit for a while, I actually like it. I don't know how it looks on camera. I have a flip viewfinder, but I mean, it looks good on camera from what I see, so hopefully it looks good to y'all too. So I'm actually not mad at how it ended up turning out. The first fight is about him not thanking her, and she goes on with like, you thanked a million people, you thanked your 5th grade teacher, you thanked the usher at the theater when you were 12 when to go see some movie, you thanked your mom, you thanked everybody, the crew. He's like, I didn't thank the usher, which shows he thanked a lot of people. He just pointed out that one person that he really didn't thank to make it like his comeback. And she was like, point being, you didn't thank me. He was like, you didn't care when I apologized after I realized I didn't thank you. And she's like, I didn't care at the theater, but at the after party, everyone from your mom to your main actress was coming to me on how upset I should be because you didn't thank me. So that's when I guess people kept coming to her and saying things is what really made her realize like, dang, he really didn't thank me. That's actually a pretty big deal. All right, so I think I'm gonna go into Jackie. Haven't pulled it out in a while, but I'm going with, I really like Credit, the brown, so I want to use that. Go doing my outer and my inner, because I'm gonna go for like matte shade and then shimmer in the middle, because that's kind of how Marie's face looks. So yeah, Marie makes a point. She goes just into the room and he starts eating the mac and cheese. And then he like starts yelling at her, like his argument. Oh, so her big thing was that you didn't thank me on this movie that you made about my life. She's like, without me there would be no movie. So the least you could do was thank me for living my life to give you this content for your movie. He's kind of quiet at first, which he does a lot of. And she like goes off and he's like starts eating the mac and cheese and he starts like going off on her. After a while he's like, movie's not about you, you're so full of yourself, la 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 la, and starts berating her from across the house. And she's like, you're really eating the mac and cheese that I made you, yelling at me from across the house, berating me and telling me how I'm like psychotic and full of myself, and you can't even take a second to come and have a decent conversation with like a human being. So Marie's big thing was like, you respect everybody but me. Like if it was, the actress name is Taylor, who's the actress of his movie. If this was Taylor, you would never forget to thank her. And he's like, cause she's crazy, she would never let me live it down. She's like, exactly. Like she would make sure you would never forget that you didn't thank her, and because I'm so like pleasant, I'm not gonna like, you know, try to ruin your night while we're there, doesn't mean you could just get away with not thanking me. So that's the first fight. It goes on for a little bit of time, not too much time, because they ended up getting to a point where it was kind of like Marie got her feelings out, and it was like, okay, whatever, fight's over. First time Toxicity, they went back to making up like a regular couple after this fight, and nothing really got resolved. Like he didn't apologize. He really was kind of like, in a way, blaming her. Like, not blaming her, but telling her she's like doing too much. Like, it's not that serious. And like, I hate when people try to make you feel like invalidate your feelings. Like, however you feel is not valid because I think you're doing too much. I don't think it's that serious. Like, that's not fair. If she's hurt by it, let her be hurt by it. I want something bronzy, but I really don't have like a bronzy. Maybe I'll go in with Zam. It's not really exactly what I'm looking for, but it's close to I'm probably gonna get. So while they're being lovey-dovey after they're making up, he makes a comment and he's like, oh Marie, if you would have like stuck with acting, you would have been great. And he was like, if only you could have found a role that was made for you, you would have been great, something like that. And she's like, oh well, the only person who can seem to write me is you, because remember, his movie is based on her life, even though he's trying to say it's not. And that comes into play later on how he basically wrote her as a character, but it has a different woman as the character. I'll get into that later. So she kind of steps down. He plays the song I Forgot to Be Your Lover. And I know a lot of people, because my generation, know it as like the Jaheim song, but the real song from the basis of it. I forgot who the artist was, but I'll tag him. Well, I'll put his name in here if you want to listen to it, because it's actually a good song. So he's playing while she's outside smoking, and she's like, that's his way of apologizing. Like, he doesn't really apologize. Everybody has known that guy or girl or person who likes to apologize via song. Like, they'll play a song for you. Like, they might call you and leave a song on your voicemail, or text you a song, or like play a song for you, like, how do you feel about this? Like, I have guys who have done that. Like, sorry, schizophrenic apology. So she like walks off, disappears, ends up coming back, and starts the second fight. So the second fight is all about his neediness. And she's like, you need me so much, and I can't really, you make the comment like, you wish I would have basically had a life, like have my own life and still been an actress, but I could never do that because you need me so much. I'm always here for you. Like, I have to be here for you and support your dreams. And he's kind of like, no, you don't have to do that. Like, you can have your own life. I don't need you. Like, I appreciate you, but I don't need you. And that's kind of hurtful to her. He actually calls her like an emotional fucking support dog. And she's like, Malcolm hits below the belt. Like, ugh, I cannot stand. Oh, I didn't even mention who the characters were. Zendaya's playing Marie. John David Washington, I think his name is, Denzel Washington's son. It's making me hate him. And I have not seen Black Klansman or Tenet. I've seen any other movies of his. This is the first movie of his I've seen. And he's making out to be a character I don't like, because who do you think you are? So in the argument, they're talking about how much he's needy and how he really doesn't need her, and he's like saying something's below the belt. But all I'm gonna say, if you've seen it, you'll know. If you haven't, you understand. Like, nail scissors. He is a shitty human being for his comment on nail scissors. So of course, Maurice is making a point on like how the movie Like if it was, again, if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have the movie. Like, so he does need her. Like, he need her inspiration. He's never had a good movie. He's never had a good movie review. This is the first time where people actually praise the movie, and she's like, "Do you really think the movie will be good without me?" She storms off after the nail scissors comment and gets in the tub. And he like walks outside, takes a walk, and is like punching the air and having a fit. And he like comes back, cause like she called him mediocre, and he comes back, "You really think I'm mediocre?" And da 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 da. And she's like, "Out of everything I've said, the thing that stood out to you was me calling you mediocre." Okay. So while she's in the tub, he comes and he's not, nail scissors wasn't enough for him. That wasn't it. He comes in while she's in the tub, it's minding her own business, trying to unwind and like catch herself, catch her breath and her thoughts. And he goes on like, "You really think movies about you? Let me humble you real quick." He names like all his different inspirations, all these women he's dated, women he's had sex with, all these different parts, these different aspects of his character, her walk, the moment she had with her, the character's significant other in the movie, them riding a bike or something, the way she says this, the way she does that. You think that's you, it's really not you, it's this girl I dated back then, this girl I screwed in a Marriott in a heart-shaped tub, this girl, my first and one and only true love. And it's kind of like, ugh. Like, who asked for all of that? Like, you're doing too much. Like, he really was doing a lot that he knew would like hit below the belt for her, really hurt. Like, he not only just like, it wasn't enough to just stab, he had to like turn the knife. He's sick. And then he like walks out after like telling her how she ain't shit compared to these other women, but then comes back and does like this "I love you so much" speech. And that is so abusive. Like, that is literally so mentally abusive. You just told me I wasn't shit, you just broke me down just to come back and say, "But I love you." And I get so fiery because I love you. Like, that is like number one indicator of an abusive person. So red flag on that one. That part kind of just like blew me. That he just, after saying all he said, comes back and is like, "I love you so much." And he's trash. Anyway, so he goes outside to smoke, and she comes out and she like plays like this Dionne Warwick song. I think it's called "Get Rid of Him," and it's about like these girls telling their friend like, "Your man's no good, you need to get rid of him." And she's just like, "But I love him, and y'all know him like I know him, and we've all been there." So I guess that's her way of apologizing, because I guess she sees like the way he tries to apologize with the music, so she kind of came in. I don't know if that was an apology or if she was just trying to throw a little shade. I don't know. But afterwards, they make up for a little bit. We have a guest. Don't mind how he's sleeping. He's fine. Karen's. So we all know how gorgeous Zendaya is. She has like these beautiful cheekbones. So I don't know if it was makeup or if it's just, you know, she's born with it. Or maybe it is Maybelline. But I'm gonna go with some bronzers to deepen up my contour, my little creases, to try to get that strongness that she had. She had a very natural makeup look. Like, we're not gonna do any highlight or anything because there was no shimmer. It was, only shimmer was in her eyes. Everything else was very natural beauty. So they make up, and they make up because when he goes in the house, he realizes that the review, his first review of his movie is out, and it's actually a good review, but he goes on this big monologue tangent, which from what I've heard, a lot of people really liked his monologue. Yeah, it was pretty good, but he just goes on and just about how like they can't see past color, basically. But I think the real big point of his monologue is not just, you know, I think you look deeper than the actual topic, and then just to really look into the fact that this is his first good review, at least the first good review from this writer. It's a woman from the LA Times, what they call Karen. A white woman from the LA Times. This is her first good review of his, but he's still not satisfied. He will never be satisfied. He still is like, "She doesn't get it, she doesn't get me, she doesn't get the point of," like, he's still blaming. He's not happy with the fact that she liked the movie. He's still upset that she doesn't get it from his standpoint, which he's a filmmaker, she's a critic. They're not gonna see the same standpoint at all, ever. Going in with the soft focused finishing powder, he's very defensiveness. That's what his major vice is. So they make up, she makes jokes about how like filmmakers fall into the trap that people actually care about like deep meanings in films, yada yada yada. But anyway, they make up and looks like everything's supposed to be good. They're about to finally, you know, do. And he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Think only happy thoughts. I'll be right back. Let's keep this, you know, going how we have it right now. So she's like, okay, but as soon as he gets up, you can see the shift in her attitude. She even like drops a tear. She's like laying on the floor, but she's laying on the floor. And you see like the tear fall, so you know shit's about to go down again. So when he comes back from the bathroom, she's ready to start the third fight. And he knows it because she's crying or like really emotional, and she's like, can I ask you a question? You promise not to make me feel horrible. And he's like, oh shit, here we go. So it gets to, why did you not cast me for this role question. That has been danced around but hasn't really been hit. And she's basically hurt because he stole her story. No matter how he tries to say it's not her story, it's not about her. Even when he was reading the review, you could hear points that they had talked about, like in their argument, like the nail scissors, overdosing in the market, like these other points she had made about her life that you can tell that basically were played out in the movie. So it's like, well, clearly it's about me because these very specific aspects of my life are in this movie. So how's it not about me? But anyway, so she's like, she's hurt because she can no longer tell her story. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? So it's no longer her story. Now it's a movie that Malcolm's getting praised for, that he made, he created. She's like, this chaos inside of her that's so ugly, he made it beautiful, but this other woman's playing it out. So she feels like she can't really tell her story and people understand because it's already been told. So it's kind of like, how can I tell my story when it's been told in this beautiful movie that everyone loves with this other woman playing me? So Malcolm, of course, even though he promised not to make her feel like crap for asking her a question, he makes her feel like crap. It's like, you didn't want this. She's like, you didn't fight for me. You fight for everything else. You didn't fight for me to get this role. He's like, well, you didn't really want the role. And she's like, I swear I did. This is the perfect role. Which goes back when she said, he said, if you would have found that perfect role that is for you, and she was like, only person who could write me is you. He literally wrote her but didn't cast her. Like, that was her perfect role to get her back into acting, and he didn't fight. Like, I think she was unsure of herself and wasn't really ready to go back into it because she had been like, she was finally clean, she was no longer on drugs, so she had this new normal, but she wasn't ready to go back into acting. But he didn't fight for her to like push for this role. That's her view of it. He said she should have went harder for it, and he told her to audition. She didn't audition, and he just left it at that, and then hired the girl Taylor. So of course he's below the belt hitting and kind of like leaves alone and just walks off, and she's like sitting on the floor crying. But she puts them together and she comes out and the fight really gets going. So when she's after her emotional breakdown, she's like, let's keep it real. The reason you didn't cast me is you didn't want to share the spotlight with me. You didn't want it to be me and you standing there, and when they asked how'd you channel this character in this role, and she could be like, oh, because it's me, because I'm the character, like it's all about me. And then she would take the shine from him. He wouldn't be able to like be the big man he is right now. But I also kind of wonder if somewhere deep down the reason he didn't want to cast her, not only for showing the spotlight, I think that's definitely a very key point, but for her racial ambiguity. Because y'all know Zendaya, she's a very racially ambiguous person. Like, she's a mixed race. I think she has a white mom, black dad, very, very fair skin. And even because, like I said, the movie's in black and white, so if you didn't really know Zendaya, you probably wouldn't know if she was black or white, because it's just, she's white on the black and white compared to him. So remember I mentioned in the beginning, he had this rant about like how because he's a black filmmaker casting a black cast, they see it as like the plight of black people, and he wants to be seen as more than that, and that his film is like not about race. But I kind of wonder if deep down that is like his guilt of like, he knows that his film is about race. Like, he knows that he wants to pull that black struggle trope, where as a black filmmaker with black cast showing this like deep topic, of course it's going to be made political and kind of like hyped a little extra because it's the black struggle. You know, like sometimes black trauma movies get a lot more play than like black happy movies. So I wonder if he kind of knew that black trauma would like play off a little better, so he didn't want to cast his racially ambiguous girlfriend, because then it wouldn't be like, people can make her who they want her to be. Like, they can make her white or they can make her black. Whereas this fully black character, her name was Imani, very black name. So it's kind of like, did he know what he was doing? Did he do it on purpose? Is it more than just he didn't want her spotlight? He didn't want his fair-skinned girlfriend to play the role? I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Take it how you want to take it. That's how I took it. Tell me what y'all think. So I pretty much finished with my face because I'm not gonna do any highlighter because there wasn't much shimmer on her face. So I'm going to spray myself in my Smashbox Photo Finish Setting Spray. Oh. How could I forget the knife scene? Oh my goodness. Before I even get into like the clothes in the movie, there was a knife scene. He was basically telling, so when they were having the fight about her not getting the role, him not casting her, and she was more authentic because like I said, the movie's about her, he was like, everyone let's say being authentic, and authenticity, that's what people say when they don't know shit about films. Like, what can authenticity get you? You really need to like want it and have like talent and, you know, the drive to do what you gotta do. And she was like, what? Like my authenticity is what made this character. So anyway, she storms off, but then comes back and grabs a knife, and he's like, oh, whoa, what you doing, what you going, what? And she's like having like a breakdown. She's like just like this crazy mental like break, and she's like, he's like shooks, he's like trying to make sure she doesn't stab him, and he sees like her struggle with like drugs and her mental health. And then scene she's like, that was all a scene. This is what me being authentic would have got you in your movie, and your movie would have been better. Bam. I love that scene. That was hilarious. She also had very muted lips, nothing too glossy, but nothing like a bold matte. So I'm gonna try this Makeup Shayla ColourPop. I don't think they make this anymore, but in Quickie, because her lips looked very nude. It's like a nudie color. It might not look great on me. I need to put a lip liner on. Hold on. Okay, going in with the NYX suede lip liner and Club Hopper, I think. Yep. So he goes into the room again, like after their third fight, and he's like, you are so crazy, you're so erratic, and I love that about you. You knew what you were doing. You knew you wanted to set that doubt in my mind that you were the only person who would have really did this role justice. So now I'm forever going to wonder like what the movie would have been like if you would have did the role. Like, would it have been better? Which she probably would have been, but you know, I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. This is #1 champion sound.
See what he's still trying to like, you know, make up and, you know, do the whoopee and all of that. And she seems like she's kind of like playing into it and with it, but then she's like, I have another question for you. He's like, here we go again. And she like brings up like the LA Times review, and she was like, and in the review she mentioned a scene that Marie also didn't like, but she said, I liked it in the script, so why did I picture it differently? And basically it's going on about like his perspective as a man, because apparently in the scene like she was topless and it made it very sexualized, and it kind of like defeated the purpose of the scene because you were too distracted with her boobs out. So what Marie was saying was, she's like, okay, her problem with you as a filmmaker is my problem with you as a boyfriend. You take things too far. So that scene where she was topless and it kind of took away from the actual meaning of the scene, she was like, you took it too far and you kind of ruined it, and you lost the element of mystery. And she's like, that's how you are with me now. And this is the part, Marie's monologue, like, get Zendaya her Oscar right now. Give Zendaya her Oscar right now. Right now. Don't wait. Go get it. We'll wait for it. Give Zendaya her Oscar now. Like, Zendaya in this whole movie is phenomenal. But this like final monologue is like whole theater silent. I watched it in my living room, but whole theater silent while she's speaking. Mr. Vice President, I am speaking. A black woman is speaking. You be quiet. Quiet and no back talk. I need some lashes. Well, actually, might not wear lashes. Of course, you know, I always got my Iconics Cosmetic lashes, which I know which ones I want to wear. Because, of course, lashes will look a little more natural. So I'm going to go with my natural pair, Ari. But I have this new Maybelline, the Sky High mascara. It's supposed to like make your lashes look like falsies without falsies. So I'm going to see if this might do it justice. If not, I'll throw on Ari. And Marie's monologue, she speaks on, of course, his lack of mystery and his lack of jealousy. And it kind of comes full circle because at the beginning she had mentioned like, you're the most not jealous boyfriend I've ever had. Like, it's bordering on unbotheredness. Like, you're not bothered. Like, it does, like, he doesn't, like, you don't care enough to be jealous. Like I could walk in a room with a man, hang on his shoulder, and you're just gonna be like, what are you doing? I need you. Come on. Like not even care like why she's hanged up on this man's arm. Like it's borderline indifference is what she says. So it's like because he's such a narcissistic person. Like who he is who he is. Like he can't get any better. He's not gonna get any worse. Like he is who he is. Let's just take him or leave him. Like that's just it is what it is. And he doesn't have like the desire to be better. I probably just a spoiler alert because I think this is probably somewhat of a spoiler because it's her final, like, really her final words in the movie. I mean, she says like 2 words at the very, very end, but this is like her final, like, getting her point across. So, spoiler as I continue to say this. And this comes, okay, so him, like, not being jealous is because he's so narcissistic. He thinks that he is the best. He's the best she's ever going to get. He even mentions before, like, you don't have any standards. Like, I've seen time when you date, like, your standards are horrible. And he basically sees himself as, like, the best thing. Like, all this is coming full circle. He sees himself as the best thing smoking. She's not going to do any better, so he has no desire to be a better person. So that's why he can go and not thank her in his speech, because where's she going to go? He's the best thing she going to get. She ain't going to leave. She ain't going to care. Trash. And she says she's lost the lack of mystery, which was like really like the only thing that was holding them, because she would wake up every day, try to be the good girlfriend who should get thanked, do everything she could, because she always wondered, like, what if there was someone who's better than me? What if there is someone who he loves more than me? What if there is someone who gives him better sex, or someone he might think about sometimes? And I gotta like wake up on my A game to be the best girlfriend I can be for him. Like I don't want him to ever like want to leave me. Like, and she tries to be a good girlfriend, which is why she should have been thanked. And she like goes on to like all the things she does for him. Reading his drafts, being there while he filmed the movie, picking him up when he's falling, washing his clothes, picking out his suit for the night, looking so damn sexy in that dress she's wearing, getting to herself clean so he can have this story, going through what she's going through, sharing her life story that he's throwing in her face, all argument, all her tragedies, her traumas, so he can make this movie, never asking for much. Even when he didn't thank her, she came home, and first thing she did after using the bathroom was make him some mac and cheese. And he didn't thank her. And he didn't think enough about her to remember her in his speech. Like, all she wanted was a thank you for all that she's done, being a great girlfriend, and doing all this and going the extra mile to make sure he is okay, giving up her dreams basically so that she can be that great girlfriend. And Marie kind of lost that spark because she's like, there's no mystery. Like, these are things I used to think. And then remember he blew up in her face all these women that inspired him. And she's like, I always kind of wonder like who else competing against. And the women that you described ain't much to come home about. Ain't much for me to try to compete with. Like, they ain't. That's who I have to worry about. Like, this Kiki is what I have to worry about. Like, she really realized she can do better. And when that realization hit, we've all been there. We realized, like, we can do so much better than what we've put up with. Like, that realization that you can do so much better hits so different. That loss of mystery, like, I think a lot of us wonder when we get into relationships, like, who was he with before? Even if we won't admit that we do, we do. And those things kind of motivate us to be a good girlfriend. Like, we want to make sure our man ain't going nowhere. Cater to you, like I keep it tight, keep my figure right. I keep my hair fits rocking the hottest outfit. Like, we want to keep, keep our man interested, intrigued, and give him good sex, and be his listening ear and his shoulder crying on. Be his rib. When that mystery is gone and you realize, like, I'm doing all this for a man that really ain't shit, or that really ain't doing the same back for me. When you truly discover what your worth is, baby, you have unlocked a whole new level of bad bitch. Period. So now that Marie has a realization, I hope she left. So after all of this that she says in her beautiful monologue, and even giving an example of the thank you that she would have appreciated, all Malcolm's no good dirty dog ass can say is, I love you, Marie. He didn't even say thank you. He is such an abuser. Like, his mind is like, love can fix everything, and love can't fix everything. No matter what y'all think, love cannot fix everything. Saying I love you when I want to thank you, that's basically trying to like avoid saying sorry, saying thank you by saying, well, I love you though. That's not the same thing. It doesn't work out that way. So they start to get ready for bed. And when they get into bed, he finally says some sorry ass thank you. And she says, "You're welcome." They go to sleep. Even then, I don't like the thank you was genuine, and I don't think her "you're welcome" was really like satisfied. Like, I don't think after arguing all night, I don't think they came to like a compromise. I think they went to bed still angry. Wake up next morning, the movie ends very ambiguously. Like, you don't really know, does Marie end up leaving? Do they end up staying together? Like, we just know they had a breakthrough the night before. So if they stay together, they have a long road to go to really, I think, build back up what was lost the night before. But I think it's best if they just like break up. I hope they broke up because they're so freaking toxic. I'm on lashes, and I'll be back with my final review. 1 second. Alright, this is the finished makeup look. The lashes are, a little bit more dramatic because her lashes were really natural. And I mean, Ari's natural. She's a natural sis, but she still like has length. So I don't know, a little more drama in the lashes than Marie had. But for the most part, this is how I imagine Marie's look to have been. Very matte face, nothing too shimmery. Eyes are just brown and gold. I picture more of a bronzy gold. Seemed like the shimmer on her eyes were like a little darker. Kind of reminiscent of her, like she had like a dark shimmery dress, which might have been black maybe, but I kind of see like it's a dark red. Probably would have been really nice on her too. But yeah, this is how I see it. Right, look, I feel like I look weird. Close my eyes and put my face in the camera. I don't know. I don't know if y'all can really see. Now I'm gonna give my final thoughts on the movie. So first of all, 10 out of 10 will recommend. I understand that it can be triggering if you have like a toxic relationship that you are in or have been in. But that's why I like the movie. It's very relatable. Like, I think different aspects of Marie and Malcolm, we've been or we've dealt with somebody like that. So it's kind of like it reminds you of like that moment, and you can kind of like yell, like if you're like me, yell at Marie on the screen like, you can do better. Like when you get to that point, you realize it, what she did at the end, which is why I hope she left. You can do so much better. You'll be so much better off. You'll be so much happier. You'll be more prosperous, more successful. Like, get out of that toxicity. It's just toxic. They argued all night. You just saw like the breakdown of the relationship. Like, it was kind of draining, but I enjoyed the drama because it was, like I said, relatable. So relatable. Malcolm truly and utterly pissed me off. Like I said, this is my first John David Washington movie I've seen, and I already just don't like him. Like, I got to see him in a happy movie to probably start liking him, because this is a role that I don't like, because he was just such a nasty man, a nasty human being. He hit below the belt in everything Marie came to him with. Like, she came with facts and like just like how she felt, and very like, I think Marie kind of expressed herself very well, but he came with just stuff just to hurt her. Like, and she even said in her monologue, she was like, you could have won with a lot of things you said, like your points. You could have won every argument, but you had to do too much. You had to take it too far. You had to like stab me with a knife and turn it. Like, you had to go that extra mile to really hurt me. And that's the type of person he was. Like, that person who, like, I'm not even gonna get personal, but I know people like that. Like, they do that extra step just to hurt you and just to be spiteful. Like, that's the kind of person Malcolm is. Like, anytime he walked in a room with his arrogance and his narcissism, I just wanted to cry for Marie, because I knew it was gonna be nasty. It was gonna be just negative. And like she said, when she wanted to stop the argument in general, not productive at all. Like, I just don't understand how someone who could claim to love someone so much say such nasty and hurtful things to them. Like, throwing up their personal woes and their traumas to embarrass them or make them feel low, make them feel bad about themselves. Calling them psychotic when you know they have had past mental issues. Like, that's like top tier abuse. Like, that's not love, that's control. And it truly scared me how he would break her down and then come back and tell her how much he loves her. And he would try to like make light of it and make it seem like he's doing it because he loves her, and he was just angry and it's not what she thinks. And I just did not like Malcolm. And you could know he was intentionally like really trying to hurt her. Like, he would leave, think of a comeback, and then come back and say something below the belt. Like, because he knew what she was saying was facts. Like, she had no problem saying what she had to say, and he had no comeback at the time. He had to go and think about it, think of some lie, some excuse to downplay what she's saying, to invalidate how she felt, and make her feel like shit in the process. He's just, ugh. I'm over Malcolm. Love Marie. It really stuck out to me that Marie is a woman who has these really deep and strong feelings, and she really in the beginning didn't feel like she could express them because she knows like how her man is and how he's not gonna hear what she's saying or care how she feels or really like try to have a productive, well conversation to like fix it and make things better. And I think as women, a lot of times we're scared to speak our mind or say how we feel or say something that hurt us or like made us upset because we're stuck on this notion of wanting to be his peace, or don't nag him too much, or don't start petty arguments, or just let it go. Like, we hear that so much that when something bothers us, we don't want to say because we don't want to be the nagging girlfriend, or always gotta find something the problem. We always gotta have an argument or this and that, and that's not healthy. We have to let our feelings out, and it was really refreshing to see Marie be able to express herself. And she would get angry sometimes, but for the most part, she was expressing herself like eloquently, logically, expressively. She was very mature in saying how she felt and how she heard or what hurt her and why it hurt her, and try to get him to understand like where she was coming from and how she felt the way she felt. But of course, like I said, Malcolm's a trash human being, so he kind of like pushed it off as her like tripping, like men do. And relatable. That's the theme of the thing. It's relatable. That's what men do. They make you seem like you're tripping, you're psychotic, and you're overthinking it, or you're being sensitive, and it's not it. Like, they really be trash, dumb as hell, like doing dumb shit that could be avoided and be doing the bare minimum and could be doing better. While we doing the most, they're doing the bare minimum. Ladies, we're taking that back all 2021. Like, we're letting go of all the toxic shit, not entertain anything that doesn't better us or help us grow, and we're only going to experience like true, genuine love, not that toxic love. I think that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on Malcolm and Marie. Of course, let me know what y'all think. We could definitely have a discussion how you saw certain things. Are you Team Malcolm or Team Marie? Because I really want to know, because I know there's somewhere people who agree with Malcolm. As much as I am so anti Malcolm and so Team Marie, I know there's people who are the opposite. So please, if you are, definitely leave a comment, and I want to discuss and I want to see your point of view, because I'm a very open person. I'm not closed-minded at all. If you have your point of view, I'll definitely listen out and try to understand it. I probably will stay with my point of view. I mean, I really don't typically change my mind on things, but I'm definitely open for healthy discussion, productive discussion. And I want to see your point of view. Maybe I will change my mind, or maybe I will see Malcolm in a different light and see maybe Marie in like the negative light. Like, healthy discussion, healthy conversation. That's what this series is for. Like, I review movies, but I talk about like what the movies meant to me and what I thought the movie lessons were, and it's up for interpretation. If you interpret it different, we can definitely discuss it. And yeah, I'll see you on the comment section. So yeah, I think that's about it. Barry's gonna do it anyway. So thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, stay beautiful.